Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Lots to talk about today. I see that Harry and Meghan, Doria and some other people went to a Beyonce concert and Meghan wore a silver dress. And I would comment on it, but I could hardly see it because maybe some of you guys can find other pictures. I can only find the one picture. It was in the Daily Mail. And normally when you tap on a picture, you can expand and have a good look, and it wouldn't let me do that. And then I found where it had been tweeted by, give them credit, at Blue Baby Sitter on X. So I went there, and again I tapped on it. I tried to expand it. Maybe it's my phone. I just can't, because I wanted to have a better look at the dress. From what little I could see, it looked very, very nice. I liked it, actually. It sort of reminded me of the dress Kylie Minogue wore years ago on, I can't remember the song, but she wore a sort of a silver dress. I'm sure you all remember. But that aside, I mean, apparently it's for Doria's 67th birthday or something. Harry looked absolutely miserable, standing in the background, hands in pockets, kind of glaring. He didn't look happy at all. Now, I found something interesting this morning, which, thanks to some of you commenting on Graham's live last night, you said that the Royal Grift had done a video. I don't know if I watched hers or not, I'm sure she did, but some of you said she'd mentioned that Meghan wasn't going to go to the Invictus and do the closing speech. But I did see H.G. Tudor had done a video about it. And pretty sure he pointed out her name's disappeared off the listing. So, not that I don't believe him, I just wanted to look a little deeper. And I had a look, and he's absolutely right. Her name's not listed. She's not billed as one of the speakers. But I found something even more astonishing. And I felt quite gaslit about this. I'm going to put a screenshot from the Invictus website. And you tell me. Because to me, this was really weird. And I took the screenshot in case I've missed something and I've gone crazy. So I clicked on the menu for the past Invictus games. And they were all there except the 2022 one. It's just not on the list. It's not there. It's like Invictus are trying to pretend it never happened. So they've got listed on there, so you can click on previous games and you can see what happened. They've got London 2014, Orlando 2016, Toronto 2017, Sydney 2018, and it goes straight to Dusseldorf 2023 and then Vancouver 2025. And they don't even have them in order. It's like really weird. All the years are all out of order. It's almost like they've done that to throw you off the scent that 2020, which was it was meant to be 2020, but it got postponed because of the worldwide bug. And I thought, I'm sure I remember last year Harry and Meghan at the Invictus Games. And then I thought maybe it wasn't an official Invictus Games because it had been postponed. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was just sort of a ceremony or something. But I thought I remembered Meghan standing on the stage, giving a big speech to introduce Harry. And I think that's been included in the Netflix trailer and the Netflix programme thing that they've got out now. So I went on to Wikipedia just to check if I'm going insane. And yeah, Wikipedia explained that it was the 5th Invictus Games and it was billed for 2020, but it was postponed to 2022, which was last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, because we're in 2023 now, which normally follows 2022. That it's not on the Invictus website. It's literally as if they've thought, this woman her reputation, her PR is so toxic. Get the whole thing, the whole year is missing. So how would that make the contestants and their families feel? And on Wikipedia, I had to dig a little. I looked on the Invictus Wikipedia page, and there was a little description of the 2020 postponement. They do mention Meghan and Harry a little bit on it, but I mean, I had to go, there's another specific page. It's almost like people are just pretending they have nothing to do with her. I see an article in Newsweek, some guy called, I don't know what his name is, and I'm not putting a link to it, I'll spare you that, John Crawford Jones Smythe or something like that. He writes loads of articles in Newsweek, gushing ones about Meghan, talking about a clip from the 2022 Invictus Games in slow motion that's on TikTok that he claims is viral with 400,000 views. In my opinion, 400,000 views is not viral. Not even 1 million is viral. Millions, tens of millions, that's viral. You know, I don't know what his classification of viral is. My goodness me, I was looking a few weeks ago, one of the newspapers, and I can't remember which one, had said, go and have a look at the Suits Twitter thread when they announced that Rachel Zane would be leaving Suits. And I went to it, and they were all very, very old tweets and replies. I wish I could remember which one it was so I could show you the link. And it was the followers were presumably big fans of the show Suits. And I would say 1 in 5 said, oh no, Rachel's leaving, I'll really miss her. A lot of them were like, who cares? A lot of them were like, tell me more about this character or that character, or how about you try doing this? And then literally every 5 comments, oh, I'll really miss Rachel's character. Very few of them said Meghan Markle. It was like the fans didn't know the name of the actress playing the part. And that was very telling to me. So for Suits fans on the official Twitter fandom page, well, the production company presumably have their Twitter account, not even there. Not even there. I mean, she was a fleeting glimpse in Suits. I did, when I used to have Netflix and she first hooked up with Harry, I watched the first 2 episodes. I thought, not a bad show. By the 3rd episode, it was just doing the same cycle, the same kind of style story. And I thought, oh, right, because Netflix do that. Like a Barbara Cartland novel, they found a formula and they stick with it for every single episode. So you know exactly how it's going to go down. And she was in it fleetingly. She'd sort of walk in and put some papers down on her desk and someone would say something to her like, can you file these? And she'd say something like, file it yourself. And then that was her line. And then she'd flounce out, wiggling her bum as she went. And that was the sort of the nub. They used to call it something for the dads, you know, in my day. And Doctor Who, the assistants, were quite often something for the dads. So they'd want to watch the programme. But I mean, she wasn't even in it that much. So what I did was I went to every single episode for the 10 seasons. It didn't take long. And I just skipped through because I knew she'd only be in one little bit. And I'd find the little bit she was in and play the few seconds and think, it's a very similar line. And then I'd go to the next episode and I skipped through all 10 seasons in about 20 minutes doing that. So I got to see all. I didn't think I might not have watched the last few episodes, the wedding dress stuff, because I saw there was something about that. I don't recall. Well, I think I'd sort of got the idea by halfway through season 10. She was a bit part. I mean, not even a bit part, more of an extra. That's what they call them. They're magazines. I'm sure you have them in your countries, wherever you are. But in the UK, there are magazines where they advertise for extras if they want a big crowd. And she was like that, you know. So what do you make of that? Go and have a look. I'll tell you what, I'll put a link to the Invictus Games and maybe you guys will find it. And I'm just an idiot and I can't see it. But I went on it and I just hit the 3 bars, the menu at the top, and it comes down and then it says something like previous games. So I expanded that menu and it's just not there. That's incredible. Talk about rewriting history. Talk about shame, embarrassment. Why? Why did they do that? Right, and then, now, the article about her in the silver dress at Beyonce's concert, admittedly, I read that in the Daily Mail because normally they have the best photographs. So I was reading that article and there was just a couple of bits that stuck out to me. Now, I don't know if they've quoted Meghan accurately because I can't remember verbatim what she said in that Netflix thing that her and Harry did. She did at one point get her phone and say, oh, I got a text from Beyonce. I can't believe Beyonce knows who I am. I remember her saying that, and I remember thinking, Beyonce, the Queen of England knows who you are, but you think Beyonce is like above the Queen of England. The reason Beyonce was so impressed with her and did the portrait in the tiara was because of the association with royal family. Did Beyonce do that before she married Harry? No. Did Beyonce know who the hell she was? No. Did Beyonce watch Suits and her blink and you'll miss it walk on, walk off parts? I doubt it. Anyway, the Daily Mail quoted Meghan as having said the following, and I'll put the caveat in. Maybe they're being naughty and they're misquoting her, or maybe it's not accurate, or maybe it is. Apparently, she said to someone, sometime, somewhere, Beyonce just texted me, just checking in. I still can't believe she knows who I am. She wants me to feel safe and protected. Now, I remember her saying, Beyonce just texted me, just checking in. I still can't believe she knows who I am. I'm not sure I remember her saying she wants me to feel safe and protected. I'd have to sign up for Netflix and watch the whole damn thing again, and I'm not going to do that. Not for anybody, I'm sorry. The Daily Mail then, and this is the paragraph that really, really made me laugh. They quote Meghan as having said, and I'm not sure she ever said this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Quote, Meghan said, she admires and respects my bravery and vulnerability and thinks I was selected to break generational curses that need to be healed. Now, if she did ever say that, that has got to be the quote of the century, hasn't it? She's been selected to break generational curses. I would suggest she's probably created quite a few generational curses of her own. And I know what those curses can feel like. You know, we've had them in our family, that somebody does something quite a few generations back and it reverberates and it has consequences and it carries through to future generations. And I have seen that in our family. In fact, it gets less and less, I suppose, as long as everybody tries to deal with it. But I dread to think of the generational curses of Lilibet and Archie. And also, William and Catherine's children will most likely inherit problems in the future. Time will tell. I think we've all seen this sort of thing before. I just find that astounding. She admires and respects my bravery and vulnerability, and she thinks I was selected to break generational curses that need to be healed. If she really said that in first person talking about herself, well, she's a nutter. I'm sorry, talk about blowing sunshine up your own arse. I was sent to save the world. So she's out there right now curing world hunger. She's fighting for peace. Oh, good gracious. That is a delusion of grandeur on a whole other scale, isn't it? And apparently this, I think they said this silver dress Beyonce thing they went to last night, I think they said it was in honour of Black History Month, is it? I can't remember. But I don't know how she can really say that when on the Netflix show I do distinctly remember her sort of on a bus or something going somewhere and saying no one had ever associated her as a woman of colour until she got with Harry. And she seemed really hurt and at pains that anybody would make the very suggestion that she bore any resemblance to a woman of colour. And I thought, whoa, ouchie, whoa, what a weird thing to say. But why the obsession with colour? You're born as you're born. I mean, why would it be a bad thing to be a person of colour? Why did she say it like that? I thought that was really weird. And that was in her own Netflix show of which she had full editorial control. I don't know. Which brings me to my last point, which I've momentarily forgotten. I'm so busy laughing at the Grand Duchess of Planet Earth. My God. Yes, the birthday thing. Yeah, it was something really important as well, and I didn't write it down on my notes, I don't think. Just give me a minute. It might come to me or it might not. I bet it will when I'm watching it back, and then I'll have to mention it in tomorrow's video. There is somebody, I've got a friend out there who subscribes, who's had a little bit of trolling this morning, actually. I'll just diverse while I try and remember. And they come out with the same script all the time. Why do you talk about people you've never met and you don't know, right? That's the nub of the criticism this friend of mine's had. It's not a YouTuber, it's you know, one of us guys is a commenter. It's almost like they're paid and it's a script, isn't it? They all come out and trot the same shit out. And they'd accuse this person of, you know, you didn't know Diana. Well, actually, I'd like to raise that point because towards the end of Diana's life, my own parents lived in the Outer Hebrides, so I only saw them twice a year. I literally saw Princess Diana every single day. She was on the news. Sometimes she was on the lunchtime news and the evening news. Every time I went to the petrol station to fill up my car, she was on the front page of pretty much every single newspaper. We got to hear her voice. We got to see her mannerisms. I would suggest that everybody knew Diana, whether they liked it or not, probably more than their own family members, because I can attest, I saw more of Diana than my own mother in the last couple of years of Diana's life. So these people who say things like that to us guys and say, you never met Diana, you don't know Diana, you obviously weren't alive at the time, because there was nothing like it. I never saw a celebrity before or after, and well, she was royalty. I never saw it before where the person was just there. They were there constantly. She was, well, apart from the Queen. And I mean, even the Queen wasn't a showy person. She wasn't, you know, doing out. I'm not saying Diana was outrageous, but the Queen was doing the Queen's thing. So the Queen and Diana are very constant people in our lives. And especially Diana during that 2-year period, particularly. I still can't remember what it was. I was going to make a really important point and I was going to go out with a bang, a duff moment. I can't remember now. Maybe I will remember while you're commenting and then I'll pin it to the top or something. Oh, Meghan. Oh, that's right. Yes, I've just remembered. I think that she wouldn't have liked being told you can't go to Invictus because you're not very popular and you're dragging them. And I think she would have liked it even less than saying we're going to delete 2022 games and pretend it never happened. Or is it missing because Netflix have got the rights? And then I think the trade-off was Harry said, okay, I'll go to a Beyonce concert with you and we'll pretend we're having loads of fun. And that's why he's standing there glaring at her with his hands in his pockets. I'll put a link to the Daily Mail one. You can see the picture for yourselves. I'm sure you've seen it already. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered that. As always, thank you very much for listening.